Hey guys, Super Trini GSP here on GSP Talk Sports, and today we're talking football, club football roundup for this weekend coming. We're starting in the EPL on Saturday. First match is the Merseyside Derby. We have Liverpool versus Everton. Let's go, never walk alone. First place Liverpool versus sixth place Everton. Liverpool coming off that 3-2 win over Atletico Madrid, late winner again. Everton coming off a 0-0 hosting Villa. What are your thoughts for this? What are your predictions? Anytime there's a derby game, whether it be Merseyside Derby or London Derby, well, not so much the Manchester Derby because that's basically a blowout these days with Man City so much better than MANU. And actually, it was this way for a while in Merseyside, but recently, well, this season, I have to say, Everton have been surprising with their performances. And it's always a tough, grueling match. So I'm not going to go out on a limb and say Liverpool 3-0 or anything like that. Anything will do. Once it's a Liverpool win, we'll take a 1-0, 2-1, whatever it is. Once it's a win and they continue and make it 5 in a row in the league, 6 in a row overall. So Liverpool over Everton there. Moving on to Brighton versus Spurs. 13th place Brighton versus third place Spurs at the moment. Brighton coming off a 2-1 loss to Bournemouth, and Spurs coming off a 1-0 win over Villarreal in Champions League. Let me know your thoughts for this, the way how the season going. Last season, you could probably say Brighton win over Spurs, the way how they were looking to finish 16th, 17th, sorry. Yeah, well, just after that poor side from Manchester. But how it is this season, things looking in Spurs' favor. So we're looking at a possible Spurs win. Probably we could go with a 2-1 Spurs here. Let's see how that one turns out. Moving on to 17th place Burnley versus 15th place Nottingham Forest. Burnley coming off their last minute lost 1-0 loss to Liverpool, and Nottingham Forest coming off a 3-2 loss to Swansea in the EFL, or the Carabao Cup. Nottingham Forest, by the way, have lost their last 3 matches and no clean sheets in their last 5. So, 15th place versus 17th place. Who gets the edge here? Probably a draw in this match. 1-1. So Nottingham Forest versus Burnley there. Moving on to West Ham versus Palace. 18th place West Ham. Remember, I called it West Ham possible relegation candidates versus 9th place Palace. West Ham coming off a 3-0 licking from Spurs, and Palace, they haven't lost a match in 8 matches, by the way. They had a 1-1 draw with Millwall. And they won on penalties in the Carabao Cup. Going with a Palace win here. Palace win. We'll go with a 2-0 Palace win. And moving on, 20th place, bottom place Wolves, surprisingly, versus 16th place Leeds. So Wolves coming off a 1-0 loss to Newcastle, and Leeds coming off a 1-0 loss to Fulham. Wolves have no clean sheets in 13, and Leeds no goals in the last 2. So this points to, does Wolves get their campaign off the start here, finally against Leeds, or does Leeds continue defying the odds, because a lot of people have them possibly going down. So I'm gonna go with a Wolves upset here. I know this Leeds. I'm sorry. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Wolves. And, have a kind of soft spot, sentimental spot for Leeds. So, this is a relegation big one right now. And then moving on to Brentford versus Fulham. Fulham 11th place, Brentford 12th. Mid-table clash here. Fulham coming off a 1-0 win over Leeds, and Brentford a 1-1 draw and penalty win over Villa. in the EFL as well. So this one could end up. I would go for a 1-1 draw in this. Let's see if one team wants it more and could end up pushing for the win in this. And then moving on to big match on Saturday, we have Chelsea playing 14th place. Well, Chelsea in 5th place playing 14th place MANU. MANU coming off a 3-0 licking from City. And Chelsea coming off a 3-1 loss to Bayern in Champions League. Hard loss there. MANU have no clean sheets in 9 matches, while Chelsea have scored 10 in the last 5. So all indications pointing towards Chelsea winning this, Chelsea going to Old Trafford for this. I know my boy Alex is a bit worried for this, that MANU finally shows up to this match. But I'm going with a Chelsea win. Chelsea are supposed to win this comfortably, I would say. And yeah, Chelsea 2-0 I would go with. So let's see if MANU can spring some sort of upset, which I don't really see happening. And Saturday, other matches around, we have in Serie A, we have Juve versus Hellas Verona. Juve coming off the 4-4. What do you call that match? Bang Buster, whatever, against Dortmund. And Hellas Verona coming off a 0-0 over 0-0 draw with Ceremonese. Have Juve winning this one comfortably. Second place Juve versus 7th place Hellas Verona. I know football on the day, the place on the table doesn't really matter per se, but Juve is supposed to win this one comfortably. Let's go with a 4-0 Juve. And 6th place AC Milan versus 4th place Udinese. Milan coming off a 1-0 win over Bologna, and Udinese a 1-0 win over Pisa. Surprisingly, AC Milan a bit struggling this year. Udinese doing well so far. Usually a tough outfit in Italy as well. So this is a tough one to call. Could be a Udinese win in this. Probably a 2-1 maybe. And then on the Saturday as well in La Liga, we have Real Madrid. First place, Real Madrid at the moment, versus 3rd place, Espanyol. We know that this is always a tough match for Real Madrid. Real coming off the 2-1 win over Marseille in Champions League, and Espanyol coming off a 3-2 win over Mallorca. Real has 10 goals in the last 5. Mbappe with 4 goals is the top scorer in the league. And Espanyol haven't lost in 8 matches. Tough match to call. Of course, I'd want, Real to win in Spain in this. And could go with a 2-1 Real win. Espanyol, anything could happen. As I said, basically a bogey team for Real. So hoping for the best there. Sunday, moving back to EPL, we have, before we get to the big one, we have Sunderland versus Villa, 7th place Sunderland versus 19th place Villa. Sunderland coming off a 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace, and Villa had a 1-1 and end up losing on penalties to Brentford in the Carabao Cup. Villa haven't won in 5 matches, and Sunderland in a nice little vein of form at the moment. Do we go with a Sunderland win here? I'm going to go against the recent odds and go with a Villa win over Sunderland. Let's say a 2-1 Villa over Sunderland. There's the, moving on the Sunday, there's Bournemouth, 4th place at the moment, versus Newcastle in 10th. Bournemouth coming off a 2-1 win over Brighton, and Newcastle coming off their 2-1 loss to Barca. So Bournemouth haven't lost to Newcastle in the last 5 matches, interestingly, and Newcastle recently 3 clean sheets in the league. This one promises to be a really, really good game, a cracker. Newcastle for the win. I mean, Bournemouth, Newcastle going to Bournemouth. Could potentially be a draw, but I'm going to go with a Newcastle win, probably 2-1 Newcastle win there. And then the big one on the Sunday in the EPL is Arsenal second place versus 8th place Man City. Man City going to Emirates. Arsenal coming off a 2-0 win over Athletic Club in Champions League, and Man City with a 2-0 over Napoli. Interestingly, Arsenal haven't lost to City in the last 5 meetings. I think it was 3 wins, 2 draws, and Man City coming with Mr. Cheat Code. Haaland has 5 goals, top scorer in the English league so far. Arsenal, always strong with their defense. City, as we know, strong on attack. How is it going to be? Arsenal, I know, still missing some key players. Could City go to Arsenal and get 3 points there? Left to be seen. What would do me better is a draw in this match as a Liverpool fan. Somehow, I have a funny feeling City is going to go to Arsenal and beat Arsenal. So, 2-1 City, although probably a draw 2-2 or whatever it is would be better, obviously. So, let's see how that one goes on the Sunday. And then Sunday, and let's see, La Liga, there's Barca versus Getafe, second place Barca versus 6th place Getafe. Barca coming off the 2-1 win over Newcastle. Getafe had a 2-0 win over Real Oviedo. And Barca, 15 goals in the last 5, haven't lost to Getafe in the last 9 matches. And Getafe with 2 clean sheets, I think is the most in Spain right now. I know Getafe would be a tough team for Barca, but how it's going recently, I think this is, well, it's supposed to be a Barca win. So let's see if by what margin Barca will win this. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Getafe is able to take points off Barca, and Real Madrid wins their match over Espanyol. So if that goes according to plan, will be really, really good, because we know how it is over in Spain, especially last season with Barca dominating. So really, really big ones coming up this weekend. Who's your match of the weekend? Who do you support? What's your score predictions? Let us know. And we'll be back for the review on Sunday. So looking forward to that. And don't forget, guys, like, share, subscribe, GSP Talk Sports. Take care, guys.